Welcome, everyone. We're here at Veterans Memorial Academy with our next segment of Spotlight in Education. I'm Luis Gonzalez, the Director of Public Relations for San Benito Schools, and we're here in the beautiful library of the campus here at Veterans Memorial Academy. Joining us here at the table to talk about some of the topics for this month are our board president, Orlando Lopez.
Good morning, Sharon. Thank you so much for having
joining
us.
us. Mr. Pettis, our superintendent of schools.
Good morning.
And the principal of Veterans Memorial Academy, Ms. Gracie Martinez.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Martinez, thank you for having us, and thank you for allowing us to shoot the next segment here at Veterans Memorial Academy.
Okay.
We're here also to kind of celebrate and acknowledge that this is the 20th year
Right.
that we've been open here at Veterans Memorial Academy. And we can't believe, I remember when it opened, and we're here 20 years later, and it still looks really like one of the most impressive campuses we have here. And thank you for letting us have here. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that happen here, because it's not just the ninth graders we have.
Right.
We have many other programs and many other services that are provided through this campus. So Mr. Lopez and Mr. Perez, we're going to open up with a couple of questions specifically about Veterans Memorial Academy. What unique preparations as a board member and as a superintendent do we make every year to welcome our freshman class to Veterans Memorial Academy? Mr. Lopez?
Well, Mr. Gonzalez, I thought that was a question for Mr. Perez, but I'll go ahead and take that one. Now, with all joking aside, throughout the year, we always prepare for situations like this, and the superintendent and his cabinet of administrators come up with plans to present to the board as far as the views of the upcoming year. And I can speak holistically about this and heartfelt because my son's a freshman here, so I can see the hard work that goes into preparing them from coming from junior highs. We had 3 junior highs, and they all collaborate, they all come together. So it's a very difficult task, I know, for administrators here to welcome all these kids at one time. They're all excited to see each other, so they have to have plans in place to make sure that the kids understand that it's a freshman year and it's important. The first year of the last 4 years of school, and it's extremely important. So our superintendent, Fred, does a tremendous job in keeping the board abreast of what's going on and the plans to see it come to fruition. And the board, of course, the board of 7 is always available and accepting of resources that our staff needs and to continue moving forward and giving the kids the best opportunity and staff to succeed.
Great. Mr. Perez, as a superintendent, what are your preparations for including the new freshman class here at Veterans Memorial Academy?
VMA is just one of the most important campuses we have. Like Mr. Lopez says, we have 3 middle schools. We actually have 4 middle schools.
Oh, sorry.
But I always like to think that this is where our cougars and bulldogs and gray pups and huskies become greyhounds. We're all from San Benito. We talk about it all the time. Once a greyhound, always a greyhound. But this is really where it starts. This is where our students start to unite and begin their journey to the rest of their high school career. But it's more than just the freshman campus, because as we know, we house some of the largest CTE classes from the high school here. So it's a real good collaboration. I know it's a big collaboration between Ms. Martinez, Ms. Martinez and Ms. Lopez over there at the high school. But it's just really important. And you had mentioned part of my job too is making sure the facilities are right. This is a state-of-the-art campus. Everybody's very proud of it, but as you said, this is our 20th year here, and it needs upkeep. So we're working on things like the walkways and items that just might need that, but it is very important to us. It also houses our Sonny Brazil building, which is very big for us in San Benito. So we're excited that this goes on.
Yeah. Ms. Martinez, as the principal, and I believe this is your second year at the helm here at Veterans Memorial Academy, and so you have a very unique experience as a principal because you have the class for just 1 year.
Right.
So it's quickly learning the students, who they are, what their needs are, preparing them for the next level. So you just have a 1-year relationship with them.
Right.
So it has to be a very strong relationship. So how do you prepare for that?
Okay, first of all, we begin the year with a fish camp where we bring all the students together. This is the first time that some of them have met each other because they've come from different campuses. So the fish camp is really important to make sure that every student starts in the right track and they're also familiar with the campus because this campus is so spread out. They also need to understand the busing system from high school to VMA because we bus students back and forth all day. You know, there's buses coming in and out of our campus all day long. So we begin with that. They also have to understand that this is the beginning of their path to graduation. This is where their grade point average becomes important. This is where passing and failing in class becomes important, where the EOC exams matter because they need it to graduate. So this is a big transition year for our students. And myself coming from a campus where I was my own campus, you know, for 17 years, that was probably the hardest growth for me as well. It takes a lot of communication and a lot of collaboration with Ms. Lopez and with Ms. Turner, as well as with Mr. Rosas with the CAPE program. We also have to have a lot of collaboration with Mr. Garcia for the Sunny Brazil complex because there's events constantly at the Sunny Brazil. So all of that takes a lot of planning and a lot of coordination to make sure that our student, and with transportation, to make sure our students are getting from place to place, from VMA to the high school, from VMA to Sunny Brazil. All of that takes coordination with and planning with transportation and with other administrators.
Well, Ms. Martinez, you do an excellent job because everything runs smoothly. I see it here, and the reason why I see it here every day is because KSBG Studios and Public Relations Department is housed here at Veterans Memorial Academy. So we see the constant flow of students and staff and the buses. This is like a hub of the entire district. We're busing in the entire district into this campus and then back and forth throughout the day to San Benito High School. So just to mention a few things of what is housed here at Veterans Memorial Academy, we of course have the 9th grade class for the entire district. So all our 9th grade students are housed here at Veterans. We have the Collegiate Academy, which is our school of choice for middle school, 6th through 8th, which is a campus within a campus. So they are also very important, and they also have over 120 students and staff members that are a part of this campus. We also have the Go Academy, which is our Greyhound Online Academy, which also is a school within a school separate from the Veterans Memorial Academy 9th graders. We also have you mentioned the Sunny Brazil Agricultural Center, which is, again, always busy. You see parents and families coming in from throughout the district, all hours, 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, sometimes 10 o'clock at night, feeding, cleaning, and taking care of the livestock, the animals that are kept in the facility. And so that's a constant flow. We also have, like Mr. Bettis mentioned, several career and technology education classes. So those CTE classes are also well attended, and so there is a flow. That's why the buses are constantly being transporting students from campus, from high school to the Veterans, because we're having our students who are not only 9th graders, but also all the way to 12th grade coming in every day for those classes. And of course, we also house our, like I mentioned, the KSBG TV studios, and also the public relations operations also is through our department. What's interesting, which is going to add a lot of traffic, is going to be, hopefully, the proposed site for our Performing Arts Center. So that's also going to be another huge component for our district. So Mr. Bettis, you want to touch a little bit about the idea of that and how that would work with Veterans Memorial Academy?
Yeah, so aside from having the land, the space for a facility like this, that was probably my number one recommendation as to why we should, start that project here. The other thing is, I think, even though it'll be a facility that'll be used by everybody, elementaries, middle schools, everybody, I think our high school students and our 9th grade students are going to probably utilize it the most. They have the most performances. We have all of our varsity teams, our music department, our dance department, that all really is focused at the high school level. So, it's just a great idea to have that here. We're already doing transportation between 2 campuses. Why not add another facility between the 2 campuses that they can both use? And it's just, I think it's going to work out just fine.
I think it's going to work out great. I totally believe that. Now, Ms. Martinez, going back to our 9th graders here, you mentioned it's a challenging year because right away at 9th graders, there's 2 important things that they have to address when there are students here. One is there's 5 EOCs, which is their STAR test, which is our, Texas requires 5 tests to
Right.
be passed in order to graduate. There's 5. 3 of them are administered here at the freshman campus the
That's
very
right.
first year. So it's very important. We also have TSI testing prep, and we also have PSAT. So those are college prep tests we have. But how important is it to emphasize to our public and those that have students in ninth grade that ninth grade is probably the most important when it comes to EOC testing because there's
Right.
3 of them.
Exactly. So the first thing is that students have to also realize that we're an accelerated campus. So they're testing in December. These students have been used to testing in April and May. So that's the first big change for them. And they have to test in 3 subjects, English, math, Algebra 1, and Biology 1. So, they have to realize that it's very fast-paced and they have to be ready and that they have to pass this test in order to graduate. Because in elementary and middle school, we tell them they have to pass the STAR test, but in reality, that's a small part of them being promoted. In high school, they have to pass those tests in order to be able to graduate. So that's a big shift for them. So what we do to prepare them, we offer tutorials Monday to Thursday for any student that requires help, okay? So we offer tutorials. The teachers, we have an awesome staff, so the teachers are working with them every day to make sure that they're ready for the EOC. And for TSI, the same thing. TSI testing, we know that's a big part of our accountability, especially at the high school level. So we offer tutoring Monday through Wednesday and an opportunity to test every Thursday. We also offer Saturday TSI testing at least 4 times per year. 5, or if we need more than 4, we offer more than 4, as many as we have, as many opportunities as we have to give those students the opportunity to test. And also when students are testing for EOC, and these students, some of them have already taken the test and passed, so we also offer testing during those days. They're here already, so might as well take advantage of that time, so we offer TSI testing as well. PSAT runs a little bit different. We only do that twice a year, and we focus on particular students that have already passed the TSI, that are taking honors classes, to prepare them for the PSAT and get them ready to get that done before they get to the high school.
And just to let the audience know what PSAT means, it's preparatory for our SAT college entrance exam. So it prepares students and gives them an opportunity to see if they're on the right path to take the actual SAT for college entrance. And so that's a preparatory, and that is something we do at San Diego CISD. We've been doing it for many years, Mr. Bettis, correct? And it's something that is free to our students. We don't charge them for PSAT. Some districts do charge for the PSAT testing, or if parents choose to take the test outside the district, it will be a cost to them. So that's something we prepare our students for. TSI testing is specifically for those students who want to enter the dual enrollment program and start taking college classes. They have to pass 2 components, I believe, right? There's 2 components. of
Well,
reading.
actually 3, because reading, writing, and the math.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And those 3 areas have to be passed in order for them to be taking college classes. And again, that's another subject we'll discuss in future episodes of
Yeah.
Spotlight on Education, but very important in ninth grade. And
Right.
thank you, Ms. Martinez, for preparing our students.
You know,
Another,
Okay, and TSI also has a fee, and so we also cover that
waive
fee.
that.
Yeah.
So we're very prepared, we prepare our students very well. We support our students very well in ensuring that they are college ready. And so that's part of our initiative, ensuring that our students are college ready. Another thing that is very important in ninth grade, Ms. Martinez, is their selection of the graduation plan.
Right.
And so can you share a little bit about the importance of that?
Okay, so every student has a career pathway that they need to select. In 8th grade, they do take a test that provides a pathway for them. So they come in here and they take the first introductory class for their pathway. However, they're very young at 8th grade, so young even as freshmen. But so at the end of the first semester in January, the counselors will meet with each student individually, go over the pathway, make sure, is this the pathway that I want? Because before they leave for freshman year, we want to make sure they do have a pathway and that it is something that they really want. So they'll meet with every student individually, go over the pathway they have, and ask, oh, is this what you want? And if it isn't, that's the time to change it right now, while they're still freshmen, so that they can start their sophomore year in the pathway of their choice and be able to complete it to get a distinction that they have to graduate with. So, but it is a matter of meeting with every student individually to make sure they're in the correct path.
And Mr. Pettis, how important is it for us to explain to parents that selection process our freshman year?
The interest of the student is the utmost important to us, to them. Really, it's going to help them focus on what they want to do in life, in their careers. It also gives them the opportunity to, dabble in different things and think, you know what, I wanted to be this, but maybe it's not for me. So it's a great opportunity for our students at the freshman
Yeah.
level to start their classes, all of the intro classes. But, if some of these students leave here with certifications, we have welding certifications, we have the nursing certifications.
Phlebotomy.
We have phlebotomy, we have office techs, we have all those things. Some of our students, maybe they don't decide to go to college, but they leave us with a certification that's actually going to help them, where they're ready for the workforce, they can get into making money on their own, and so it's just really important for us to do that for them.
And Mr. Lopez, I'm going to put you on the spot. You
Yes,
are
sir.
a freshman parent.
Absolutely.
Parent of a freshman student. And so as a parent, have you had these conversations with your son in terms of the importance of the EOCs, importance of TSI testing, PSAT, and then, of course, selection of the graduation plan? Is that it? Conversations you and your wife have had with your son?
Luis, as a parent, we're not here every single day, right? But one thing that I can attest to, and one thing that I've seen the growth in my son since he came to this campus was exactly that. He's one thing that this staff does here, at VMA with Ms. Martinez's leadership is make sure that the parents, get that type of information and make sure that their kids are guided in the right direction. And my son is a freshman. Like Ms. Martinez said, maybe a young freshman, but they're kids and they want to have fun and all that good stuff, but they need to be laser focused in order to achieve the goals that we set forth for them as a district. And I've seen a major growth in him. So to answer your question, sir, absolutely. I mean, as a parent, this campus has done a tremendous job, and not just because it's me, but talking to other parents, the kids have really matured in a very short period of time with this campus and this leadership, and that's a testament to, everybody buying into the theory, to the goals, because it is very important. Like Ms. Martinez said, in 7th and 8th grade, it's, pass a test and this and that, but, once you get it to your freshman year, then you realize, like, hey, you know what, this is business. Like, we're in the business of educating kids. We're not here to play games, So the strict rules and all that other stuff, I've seen it for me personally. I couldn't be more excited, for my son's future here, and also for him to continue his education, because I know he's focused on what he needs to do, and a testament to her leadership.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And as a parent, also, are you excited about the prospect of him earning college credits? Because that's something that definitely will help you as a parent, because that's almost 1 year, 2 years
Absolutely.
that you have to pay. That he'll be ahead of the game when he graduates 12th grade. He'll have a number of hours, so that way you don't have to worry about that component.
Mr. Gonzalez, and this has been going on for a very long time, but, now that I see, how everything plays out, and it's been years and years in the making, how our district gives our kids the opportunity, and it's just a matter of taking advantage of that opportunity. It's a matter of just, educating the parents on the importance of the kids, doing what they need to do, and also the services that we provide here. So with that being said, I've seen it, like I said, I see it, more this year, I guess, if I may, the collaboration and the culture change, and, everybody focus on what they need to do and how they need to do certain things. And I say that because I'm a parent. I say that because I see it, not just from my stance here, sitting here, where we're not in the day-to-day operations. That's not what a board does or a board member does. So, seeing how my son has transitioned from where he was to where he's at now is a testament, to your question and to the leadership of Ms. Martinez and our superintendent, Fred Perez, how the culture is changing here at San Benito CISD. And I couldn't be more proud, sir.
And I also want to commend you as a parent, because it's also the importance of the parents. It's important for the role of a parent to be the supporter, the guide for their student. That's very important, because without that, the student may be lost.
Correct.
So
And-
thank you as a parent for supporting your son.
You know, Mr. Gonzalez, and it goes, this is district-wide, but that's one thing that I think, you know, I've seen in our, you know, Mr. Perez has given me an opportunity to attend some of the meetings and speak to our administrative staff, and that's one thing that I see, you know, that's in unison. You know, they're all speaking the same language. They're all buying into the, you know, to the goals of the district, and you know, and all the like Ms. Martinez said, which is awesome to see. You know, it's all the administrators working together. You know, the assistant principals, the assistant superintendents, and all that stuff, and it's great. You know, and I'm a testament to those results. You know, so thank you, sir.
Well, thank you. No, thank you. And Ms. Martinez, is there anything else you'd like to share with our community about Veterans Memorial Academy?
You know, it's a great campus. We have a wonderful staff. The students are awesome. You know, they are motivated. They're still eager to learn. So great discipline. So thank you, parents, because I know that comes from the home. And the only other thing I would like to cover is attendance, because it is so important that students be here daily. And, you know, we motivate them. Thank you, Mr. Perez, for providing some funds to be able to reward them. But attendance is so important, and getting those students here every day, it would be a great help, parents, if we could make sure that our students get here every day. So we're also doing attendance contracts with them. So the ones that are not coming to school, we're working on attendance contract. It works, so they get here. We just have to remind them that we need to renew the contract sometimes. But it's getting better. We've made our attendance incentive
Yes.
both 9 weeks, but we also need to improve from there as well.
There's always room
Okay?
for improvement.
Yes.
So thank you, Ms. Martinez, for being supportive of the students and for the staff here. And thank you for joining us here
Oh,
today. And
you're
we look
welcome.
forward to some of the great things that are going to happen at the end of this year as well.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Martinez. Thank you for
Okay.
joining us. Thank you. Our next guest we have at the table is Mr. Joey Sanchez, who is Assistant Principal here at Veterans Memorial Academy. Welcome, Mr. Sanchez.
Thank you for having me, sir.
And
Good
we
morning.
appreciate you taking the time. I know there's always something going on here at Veterans Memorial Academy, and so we wanted to offer you the opportunity to give us a perspective. We heard from Ms. Martinez, but also the perspective from another administrator. And assistant principals sometimes are in the trenches. They're out there a little bit more because they're doing duties, they're doing just monitoring and taking care of other things that happen here at Veterans Memorial Academy. So can you give us a little perspective of your background here? I know that you've been here for a couple of years. You want to share a little bit about your experience here at Veterans?
Yes, sir. So I've been in administration for about 5 years now, and this is my second year here with San Benito CISD, home of the gold standard. And so I recently transitioned from San Benito High School over to VMA, and have been exposed to a multitude of different faculty and staff at the Collegiate Academy, on campus, and so forth. So yeah, it's been a wonderful experience, probably the best in my career, and so I'm looking forward to the future.
Good. So as an assistant principal, what is a typical operational day, instructional day here at Veterans Memorial Academy?
Yeah, so we feel here at VMA structure, familiarity, and continuity are the essential components into running a normal school day, right? And so our kids are dismissed from the cafeteria at 8:23 a.m. Our first bell rings at 8:26, and the kids are in class and situated by 8:32 a.m. And so our administration and our faculty and staff, it was a full team effort. We certainly set forth those expectations at the beginning of the year, just to make sure everything could run smoothly. We even put forth pre-recorded videos for all of our students at the beginning of the year, just to make sure that those procedures, those rules, those expectations were set forth for all of our kids. And because that would make sure that we quell and we mitigate any of those questions or concerns that come on behalf of our students, right? Especially in transitioning from middle school to the high school. So in sum, our kids have responded extremely well to those expectations, and we just need to continue to make those deposits as we move forward, because we still have our goals out in front of us. And so the goal is to, as we talked about previously, we want to make sure that our kids attend, they're doing their part in class, and then come time for April, the kids can go ahead and pass that star and move on to bigger and better things at San Benito High School.
Good. So I know that at the freshman level, this is the first year that everyone gets to know each other as students, but also as staff. We're getting to know all the students. Like we mentioned with Ms. Martinez, we have a one-year shot with this cohort, this class of students. So we have to get to know them very quickly, support them, and at the same time prepare them for the next grade. So one of the things that freshman level students, they start engaging in extracurricular activities such as athletics, music, CT programs, other things. How, as an assistant principal, how important is it to, or your role of promoting that and also supporting those students that do those activities?
Yeah, it's extremely vital. When it comes to extracurricular activities, just take a look at the world around you. It almost seems that on a day-to-day basis, the world is becoming more competitive with each passing moment. And so when we preach the gold standard to all of our kids here, we just want to make sure that our kids are not only successful in our primary and secondary schools, but they're successful well after high school, right? And so the expectation for our kids is that we want to make sure that they can start their school day before 8 a.m., being involved in UIL, sports, or anything of that nature, and be here well after 4:30 p.m., involved in some sort of tutorial, getting involved with our ag program or a program offered by our CAPE program, as well as bells and cheer, things of that sort. So all of that essentially helps develop the more well-rounded student to make sure that they have those skill sets and that responsibility to go ahead and become better adults.
Good. Which leads us to the next question is, ninth graders have to grow up pretty quickly in terms of life and their responsibilities, because now they're earning credits. They're earning, they have to pass those classes. Their movement, even on the campus, is more self-sufficient. So how do we teach them to be self-sufficient, self-reliant, being more responsible for themselves?
Right, and so knock on wood, I think that's probably one of the most important things, a kid that can come in, become more self-reliant, self-sufficient, because hopefully if there ever comes a time where I have to leave this planet, or any one of us, we want to make sure that our kids are going to be okay, and that they end up becoming better people than what we could ever hope to be. And so here in San Benito CISD, we want to make sure that we develop the next CEO, the next executive, the next boss, right? We want leaders, not followers by any means. And so, especially when I go outside of here, I usually attend the gym. Shout out to Mike and Adrian, if you happen to be listening, keep doing your thing. Kids will come up to me and tell me about what they're doing in the military, what they're doing as far as school, and what they're doing in their life and so forth. So that's always made me very proud to kind of get a sense of that community. But essentially, when we scale back to VMA, we're talking about laying the foundation, because this is where our kids, they start their GPA, their grade point average. And so, like Ms. Martinez was talking about, having those conversations with our kids and make sure that their attendance is up, they're doing well in all their classes. That way, when they are on par for graduation, they can attain those 26 credits needed with an endorsement from dual enrollment, as well as a program offered by our CATE system. So just essentially, we want our kids to make sure that they keep the main thing, continue attending your classes, making those deposits with your schooling, and making sure that you're prepared for STAR, so once again, you can proceed to the next level at San Benito High School and transition effectively.
Thank you. Mr. Perez, I know you were at an assistant principal level position, and so I'm sure the conversation that the words that Mr. Sanchez has shared, is there anything you would like to add to that, or anything you want to share?
It made me think, I wanted to thank Mr. Sanchez and all of our secondary assistant principals. Yes, I was an assistant principal at the high school for 8 years, and aside from this job, that is probably the most difficult job I've ever had, but it's also the funnest job I've ever had. There wasn't a day that something didn't happen that excited me, that made me proud of our students, or I wasn't involved with something that they were doing. So, this when I got into this seat, that is the first thought I thought. I was like, that's the kind of job I remember doing, is just constantly being torn in 100 different ways, especially at the secondary level where you oversee everything. So, again, thank you, Mr. Sanchez, for everything you do, and all of our assistant principals. Thank you guys.
They have a unique role because their day is not a 8 to 5 job. Sometimes they're monitoring games. Sometimes it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, sometimes 12 o'clock, midnight when they get home, because you're taking care of extracurricular activities, extra duties, things just come up. So it's not an 8 to 5 job sometimes. And so, Mr. Perez and Mr. Lopez, we want to foster an environment where up-and-coming future principals, directors, superintendents stay within San Benito and can grow in San Benito. So is there anything you would like to share or anything you would like to talk about in that level in a role like Mr. Sanchez has right now?
Absolutely, and and a testament to Mr. Sanchez, it's very obvious that we have great quality here in San Benito. Says you having a leader like himself, speak from the heart and speak to what's going on here. And I say that because my son comes here, so I've seen a major transition in him as maturing, and it's a testament to to how they involve the kids and how the kids buy into their I say theory, and I've seen a maturity in my son playing sports like extracurricular activity, extremely important. My son's has not only my son but his friends. I can see him maturing. This is a very vital time in their lives. They're teenagers, and then so I think a testament to Mr. Perez and great leaders like Ms. Martinez and Mr. Sanchez here, how these kids have transitioned. I say that because I'm a parent. So you're absolutely right, Luis, when Mr. Gonzalez, that I'm very fortunate and very blessed to be a board member for many years now. And one thing I've always said from the heart is family. If you can cultivate embracing a family type of environment for our administrators and our staff, then they're going to want to work here. Every school district has challenges. Back to the attendance, the ADA. Okay, we don't want to talk about it, but we're in the business of educating kids. But if the kids don't come to school, it affects us financially, right? So there's a fine line there, right? So we do everything that we can to make sure. So just like the Board of Seven is focused on providing our kids with the resources to succeed. We also collaborate on as often as we can talk about ways to nurture and cultivate a family type of environment, and that starts with our leader here, Mr. Perez, and I think that's one of the things that he's done. He's done a tremendous job doing that, but there's always room for improvement every single time. So, and I'm a firm believer that, and this is my opinion, I'm a firm believer that if your staff is happy, then that resonates to the kids' education. You got to keep your teachers happy. You got to give them just provide them with the culture that we care about them. That we do appreciate them. At times of in times of struggle, that's when they realize what family's about. So Mr. Gonzalez, I think me as a board member, I think that's one of the most important things for me, is exactly what you just mentioned right now, and that's one thing that I'll continue to take pride in pushing for that family type of culture.
Thank you. And
I'd just like to add is, I look at our administration. I met with all the assistant principals in the summer, actually here in the library, and my belief is I like to grow from within. The conversations I've had with the board has always been that. I walk around central office now. You and I have been friends for many, many years. When I was a teacher or a coordinator, we knew each other. I walk around central office, and 90% of all of our directors there were teachers in San Benito and assistant principals. So, I got to work with them side by side. So, we constantly look at our up-and-coming assistant principals. To me, they're our next principals. They are our next directors. Might be our next superintendent. So.
not yet, though. So yes, and of course, I'm the product of that as well. The only advice I would give to people who are looking to become future leaders, directors, superintendent, is you have to work hard. You have to continue to work hard every single day. You have to prove yourself every day. But more importantly, you need to focus on the students and our customers, our parents, all that. So thank you, Mr. Perez, Mr. Sanchez, for doing that, because I see it. I'm not in the trenches as much, but I do when I'm interacting in this, walking across the campus for whatever reason, since I'm housed here, I do see the students. I do see you engaging with the students, and so that's important. I think when administrators are working with, talking to, not talking at students, that's very important, because they realize that you're talking to them as a person, not like you're not talking down to them. Mm-hmm. So they respect that. They see that students are more intuitive and more aware than we give them credit for, because they watch everything we do, the way we look, the way we carry ourselves, the way we speak, the way we act with people. So thank you for always being a model for those students as well. and look forward to what you can do here in San Benito. I know that everyone tries to aspire to something else. So again, thank you for doing that, and we thank you for joining us here today.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. And we'll be right back with a student here at Veterans Memorial Academy. We are very fortunate to have one of our students here at Veterans Memorial Academy sharing some of the ideas and some of the thoughts she has as a student representing the freshman class here with us today. We want to welcome Ms. Riley Sauceda, and she is a freshman here, first year here at Veterans Memorial Academy. Welcome, Riley.
Thank you.
And Riley, this is the first year when everyone comes together. This is where students from across the district come, and this is the graduating class of 2028. So how exciting is it for you and for your classmates and people you know in the class to get to know new people, get to see new faces, and see your friends as well?
I think it's very exciting. When I came here, I got to meet a lot of people I had like connections with, but I didn't really talk to them. But here I have classes with them. I'm able to see them like every day. So I think I grew more connections this year. And another like a major thing that tied into it was the sports. I got to be with them after school. I got to like make stronger and deeper connections with all my friends. And I think just like connecting with them, helping them with like classwork also like tied into it.
Good. So is everyone's feeling the same thing? In other words, it's all new to everybody.
Yes.
And so everyone is experiencing the same feelings, the same thoughts, the nervousness, but at the same time, the same excitement too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so have you been able to make new friends, people that you
Yes.
didn't think you were going to be friends with, you're now friends with?
Yes,
Is that-
many.
Good, that's awesome, that's great. So as a freshman student, we talked about with Ms. Martinez, we talked about the importance of freshman year. One, because we all come, you come together as a ninth grade class, the class of 2028. And one of the things that, the two things that are important during your ninth grade year is, of course, the STAR EOC testing,
Yes.
which we know that there's 5 tests we have to pass, students have to pass in order to graduate high schools in Texas. So there's 5. 3 of them are freshman year. So right off the bat, there's 3 important tests. As a student, how do you prepare and how do you get ready for those kind of exams and those expectations of passing those classes?
Well, personally, I finished most of them last year as an 8th grader.
Great.
So I didn't really have to worry too much, but I would like help my friends and like prepare them because I would be like, okay, this is what you need to focus on, and this is what will make you like understand what you're gonna read and understand what you're gonna test on.
That's fine. Okay, and so that's, congratulations on that. And yes, students can get ahead of the game and start taking those classes in 8th grade. And so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And also the importance of earning credits, because we know that elementary was a different process, middle school was a different process. Now every class is a credit because you have to earn so many credits to graduate. So that is important. How do your fellow classmates feel about that?
Well, I know a lot of people say, oh, it's going to get really competitive. And I think it is, but I think we're all on a pretty good, like, we all have pretty good friendships that we all help each other instead of fighting over, well, I'm going to be on the number one. Well, we all help each other and we all, like, fight towards that spot, but we all do it respectively.
And that's a great attitude to have. And so the other part of the freshman year is you're also selecting a career path, or you're selecting a graduation plan, which leads it to a career path. So have you made those selections already, or you have ideas of what you want to do for your graduation plan?
Yes, well, after high school, I would like to go to college, of course, and I would like to pursue a degree in business and education.
Oh, education, good.
great. Yes.
So you want to be a
Administration,
administration
yeah.
teacher, good, awesome. There's a lot of careers that opens up to a lot of possibilities. You could be a CFO, in charge of the business office of a district, or any kind of public.
You can have my seat.
Yes, also. So that's great. So is there discussions among you as classmates about the career graduation class you're taking?
Yes.
And so what are some of the questions, or what is some of the feedback that students have when they're talking about the graduation plans?
Especially after the first semester, we would kind of break away a little bit, and I'd be like, oh, what class do you have? oh, I'm going into like the medical field, so I won't really see them that much because they have those classes.
They're taking different careers.
Yes.
And so once you start going up the grade levels, you'll start probably separating it a little bit more just because we're busing students back and forth from VMA, and if they're taking those specialized classes, sometimes you only get to see them only one, maybe at lunch or something. So that's good. What advice would you give to students that are coming up to become freshmen, the seventh graders, even elementary students? What kind of advice would you give them preparing for freshman year?
Honestly, I would just say to take it slow. I mean, it's a very hard year. You're barely coming into high school. You're being pressured with all these tests, with all these new and harder classes. But I think it's great to just slow down, talk to your friends at lunch, do all the sports that you want, do what you like, get involved in the activities. The staff here is great. The teachers are great. It's so positive here, and I think that it's a very welcoming environment.
Okay. And Mr. Pettis and Mr. Lopez, you can join in on this question. How do you think the district has prepared you and your fellow classmates for freshman year?
I think they did a pretty good job. The only thing I think that would need improvement on is explaining to these upcoming middle schoolers or these upcoming freshmen that these are the classes they should take. They should focus on their TSIs. They need to focus on getting those harder classes so they can, if they're focused on rank and their GPA, that they need to take these classes, focus on their PSATs, and move forward, stop falling behind, and just get involved with the school so that way they can create a better future for themselves.
Well, you have the two leaders here that will
And
help
I'm
prepare
I'm glad you said that, Riley, because this summer that's what we thought the students needed. We heard a lot of our students last year telling us, well, I kind of really don't know what to do as I get into my freshman year. So now we have taken the better part of this first half of the year to create, and they're online already, it's a pathway for students to, they want a career in welding. They know what classes they have to take. But we also think about the students like Riley that are thinking college. So these are the classes I need to do. I need to pass TSI, the importance of that. So, those pathways you can find online now. But, we heard you all last year when you all said things like that. So
When the High Five had gone to our school, I had a lot of questions because I wasn't really sure. And I would ask my brothers, but they would just say they graduated a long time ago, so they wouldn't really know. So I was kind of stuck.
yeah.
And the high five is important because it starts freshman year. And so if you want to be part of that group, it's a lot of hard work, but it's something that can be achieved. But it starts as early as the first day of your freshman year.
Yes.
Well, actually before that, because you have to become a great student, prepared, but it starts the day one because that's how competitive it becomes when you're looking at the high five,
Yes.
which is the high 5% of the entire class. So you can have up to 20, 25, depending on the size of the class, the members of that group.
Is that one of your goals?
Yes.
Good.
So, Ms. Riley, if I may have a question for you. I mean, I've given you plenty of awards when I've gone, and and kudos to you and your parents so much for supporting you and you excelling in education at a very young age. My question to you is this: okay, how, from your perspective, right, from where you're at right now as a freshman in education, what kind of views or what kind of ideas or pathways would you see to refocus those kids that are struggling in our school district? Are we doing, from your opinion, are we doing what we need to do to refocus those kids? Like you mentioned a lot of key points here that the culture has created here is that you speak to your friends and you help them out with ideas on what they need to do and how they need to do certain things to achieve their goal and to pass these very difficult, challenging tests. So my question to you as a student, what can our district do better to refocus our kids that are struggling, for example, or may not have the resources to reach those goals that it's very obvious that are easy for you. You know what I mean? So what can we do?
Well, I think, honestly, changing the name of tutoring, because tutoring is very intimidating. It's like, oh, well, I'm kind of struggling. I don't want to go to tutoring because that just makes me look weak. I think it should, just calm down, chill with the teacher. She'll help you, and it's not like, oh, well, I'm struggling, so I need to be there, and I need, Like it just sounds very degrading.
Yeah, I can see
And I
that.
think
Yep.
that it
It's
just
very
should
negative
be, yes.
view. I have to go to tutorials. Yeah.
That's a
Okay.
I
great
think
idea.
Interesting.
a new name for that would really help.
That's something, right, Mr. Pettis?
You know, it's
a great
pretty.
idea.
Well, you know my son, so you know whenever he struggles or something, I say you got to go to tutoring. He says, "No, Dad, I don't wanna go to tutoring. I can figure it out." But you know that's a very good point because you know, as kids develop, you know, the image is very important. You know, and you're right. You know, going to, oh man, I gotta go to tutoring. You know, it sounds, you know, like you say, it sounds like you're struggling and you don't want your friends to know you're struggling and this and that. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, the resources are there to help our kids.
Yes.
So you're right. We need to change that is you know, assistance for our kids, and that's a real good point. Thank you so much for that. That's great.
Well, thank you, Riley. Thank you for joining
you.
us. You're a bright, intelligent, articulate young lady, and so I looked forward to seeing what you're going to do for the next 3 years. Of course, finishing this year in 3 more, and see what path you take. And so hopefully, some great things are going to happen for you. So thank you for
Yes.
joining us
Thank
here.
you so much.
Thank you for representing the freshman class as well.
Yes.
I'll,
Thank you.
I'll
you.
have your gold jacket waiting.
Okay, thank
Work
you.
hard. Work
Thank you.
hard. Thank you, Riley. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you. Welcome back to Spotlight in Education here at Veterans Memorial Academy. Each segment we're going to be closing out with what we feature hot topics. What are some of the things that are being discussed across the district from staff, students, and our community as well of what's happening in our district. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the hot topics that are being discussed right now. So Mr. Bettis, Mr. Lopez, we have on our calendar coming up, we have the February midwinter break, which is going to be during February 6th through the 10th. San Diego CISD has always had Super Bowl Monday. So we're going to kind of extend it up a little bit. So can you share a little bit about Mr. Bettis about?
I was
everyone
about to
looking
say
forward?
our Super Bowl weekend.
Yes.
No, I think this came about last year when we were doing the calendar. We have committees. We spoke to the students. We spoke to the staff. A big thing was, and it is a big thing, burnout for students and teachers, and they just felt that there was some long stretches in between holidays that were kind of stressing teachers out. So we had this idea of doing mini breaks. We had one in October. We have another one, the one you're talking about, coming up in February. So it's exciting. It's important for us all to be here, but it's also important for us to get some rest and to really just recharge those batteries. So
Yes.
look forward to that.
And I know everybody's talking about that. Ms. Lopez, do you get feedback from that?
Yeah, my son loves it. But no, I think with this schedule here that's been adopted and approved by the board, what everybody needs to understand is that our administration did a great job by getting feedback from everyone, from our kids, from our staff, and this is pretty much what they wanted. So the board just followed what they wanted. So we had heard that for a very long time to see how we can, burnout, like burnout days. Our teachers were tired, long days, and so I think they found something to try that'll hopefully allow them to recharge and get some much needed rest in between those long stressful days.
Yes. It also is an opportunity for parents to, they want to travel or they just want to do what they call staycations and have their family there for a couple of days, a long weekend, I should say. So this is going to be good for not only staff, students, but also families because they get to do something with them during the midwinter break, which leads us to the next hot topic is the 25-26 school calendar. This is the time of the year, Mr. Bettis, where we start looking at options for our calendar. And so when we're, just a little bit of information because I've been on calendar committees for the past 20 years. And so there is a set number of days we have to have. So we're not cutting back on instructional days. It's just how we are configuring those days. The starting point and the ending point, and then what has to happen in the middle. So can you share a little bit, Mr. Bettis, on what are the parameters we look at every year for calendars?
So that's probably the trickiest part of doing the school calendar. We have so many. One, we have to satisfy the amount of time that our students are here, required by the state. So that's one thing we have to make sure. That's our number one, check that off the list. Okay, our students are ready. But then we have to look at our teachers. Most of our teachers are on a contract that says they have to work 188 days. That's their contract. So then we have to make sure that there are 188 days that we have scheduled for them to work. And then we look at administrators that have so we have people on staff that have 206, 215, 226 days that they have to work. We have our custodians. We have our maintenance workers, our bus drivers. Everybody's on a very different schedule, so that becomes the trick when it comes to the school calendar. A lot of the input we get, on the days and the breaks, what days are we going to have off? What are going to be work days? What are going to be vacation days? That's difficult, but the hardest part is just making sure that everybody satisfies their contracts.
Right. And so always explain to people, it's kind of a layering effect. First, we look at the set dates, Christmas, Easter. Those are already set. We looked at testing dates. That's also set. So those have to be laid out first, and then that gives us the option of looking at what other days can we play with? These mini breaks, so what can we do and how do we coordinate with that? So it's like a layering effect, but all that has to come into play, like you said, the student requirement of the number of days we have to have them here, number of minutes that the state of Texas says we have to have, teacher contracts, everything comes into play. So then we have the like you're making a cake, the frosting are these extra days that we get to do because once all that is set in place, we have those options. So we either start very early and have some time off in the middle of the year, or we move into the month of June. So it's always like a balancing that we have to have. So yeah, so we will be looking at that. We'll be looking at that and sharing with our staff very soon on those. So another thing that's coming up in spring, and I can't believe we're already we only have 4 more months to go of the year, and so we are looking at the Superintendent Scholarship Golf Tournament. So this is going to be our 8th annual, I believe, tournament. And so can you share a little bit about that, Mr. Lopez and Mr. Pettis?
This Superintendent Golf Tournament, I think, started the first year I got elected, and I think it's been a tremendous success. We've given out, hundreds of thousands of dollars of scholarships to our kids. All the money raised goes back to the kids and scholarships. But more importantly, I think another thing that it's done that's really great is to see all the staff comes together and really enjoys this opportunity to go out there and relax for a day at the golf course, and also thanking our vendors, and all the people that support it. We've had tremendous support from our city and just a lot of people that believe in San Luis ISD and know that this money is going to the kids, and they have really extended the gratitude, and I'm really happy for that.
And Mr. Pettis, the structure of how we award those and.
So we're actually getting ready to start our first, committee meeting. I know you and I are on that committee. There is a lot of work that comes behind this golf tournament. It is something that it's very exciting for everybody. Like Mr. Lopez says, it allows everybody to just come together. And the day of the tournament, it's really nice to see, the hundreds of golfers that come out to support our district, our employees that are, out there helping serve, water and Gatorades and the food and all of that. So, it's just an exciting time for us. And more importantly, it's just another reminder as to why we're here. What we are doing for our students. To be able to give, last year I gave out 25 students $5,000 each to start off their college careers. That feels good. That's why we're here. That's why we do it. So.
Yeah, I totally agree. And again, the structure is set up to where seniors receive these scholarships. Graduating seniors of the class of 2025 will be receiving these funds that we raise. Our goal is $100,000 every year, and we always seem to achieve that. If not, we go over that amount. And again, we have a selection process, and so students who are members of the 25 graduating class will be awarded those scholarships based on the selection process. So that helps students with their college and their technical school choices for next year. Another thing that we have coming up around the corner, and we're excited about this too, in fact, it's going to happen here at Veterans Memorial Academy. And in fact, when I was working with Mrs. Nancy Casas, our director of after-school programs, recently, we're planning for this tournament. And it was exactly 20 years ago when we hosted it here at Veterans as well, when Veterans was the brand new campus. And so it's coming back. This is a regional tournament where over 1,500 students are going to converge here at Veterans from all over South Texas. And so this is a great opportunity for students not only to engage in chess, but also to market our district. Yes. And so Any thoughts, Mr. Pettis or Mr. Lopez, on those opportunities? That's going to happen February the 1st and 2nd. It's a Saturday and Sunday tournament. And so that's almost like 2 weeks away from this recording date. And so any thoughts on that, Mr. Pettis?
It always excites me to know that we can use our facilities to showcase what we do, and more importantly, bring in students from all over the valley to see what we do. This is a beautiful facility. We've said it today, and that chess tournament, it just brings in so many students. Not just that, Ms. Casas does a wonderful job of, the amount of students that we, chess is big in San Benito. We know that. So there's a lot of participation. Our parents, it's good for our parents. It's good for our students. We house it here. I could see the pride that our staff take and our students take when they know they're on a home turf. It's just like Friday Night Lights when we play in Bobby Morrow. Everybody comes. It's the same thing with everything else: chess, band, everything. So this is our home field advantage this year, and I wish luck to all of our chess players.
And we're going to have a table. We call them pop-up events, and we're going to start having what we call pop-up events for enrollment and registration for San Benito schools. And that's going to take place with some community events throughout the San Benito. And we're going to have a pop-up table here at the regional tournament, and we're going to try and see if we can get some new recruits to the district because, again, it's about marketing. It's about the opportunity of offering what we have here in San Benito, a lot of great things. We're centralized. Great thing about San Benito is we're centralized in Cameron County. So somebody either has to come through San Benito or to San Benito for something. So that's a great opportunity for us to reach out to some new students that can engage in our school. So
If I may, Luis, it's from my perspective, of course, going back to me being a parent and also me being on the board, it's a great opportunity for us to number one, showcase our school, but more importantly, to follow what we're saying in the marketing aspect of things. Because believe it or not, when big events like that happen, we get calls, like hey Orlando, like what's going on, like how did you do that, so because everybody wants to be, everybody wants to have that one leg up on everybody else, right? So everybody's looking out to how are you gonna, in their own communities, so to find ways to market their schools, to find ways to say, why is this school district better than the other in educating their kids? So this is a great opportunity for us to showcase, what we got, and you've done a tremendous job as well as Nancy, from the after school program to showcase, and it's exciting because I know they're going to come have a great time here. I know it, and they're going to see what our branding of the gold standard is, and why we market what we. Basically, we market and then we do what we say we're going to do. So it's a great testament to, like you said, why kids need to come here. And that's a great opportunity for us. And like you said, home field advantage. But more importantly for me, it's showcasing the culture of San Benito and the pride that we have, because everybody knows when they come to San Benito the amount of pride we have. So it's a testament to you two gentlemen as far as making sure that happens.
And we're excited. We've been the home of Pigskin Jubilee for many years. We hosted many chess tournaments. We're now getting ready to open up the softball and baseball fields, which we can now be a playoff destination, hopefully. So there's a lot of our facilities that can be used not only for our district, but also for regional events. And that's what we intend to do here in San Benito. So again, we want to thank everyone for joining us here today at Spotlight in Education here from Veterans Memorial Academy. Next month, we're going to be showcasing another part of our district and other students, administrators, teachers, and members of our community during these times. So we want to thank everyone for joining us, and we thank you. And we'd love to hear your feedback. If you can contact us at KSBG TV and the Public Relations Department at 276-6030, or you can also contact me via email, Luis Gonzalez, LGONZALES @sbcisd.net, or you can also contact Mr. Pettis also at central office location at 361-6100. So again, thank you, and thank you for joining us here this closing episode of Spotlight in Education. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.